Good evening. Thanks for being here. RCMP on the North Island are investigating a suspicious death tonight. The body of a 31-year-old man was found lying outside his home in Port Hardy just after 8 o'clock this morning. The RCMP are saying very little about the investigation tonight, but they do confirm this, that the Vancouver Island Major Crime Unit is involved in the investigation. And A News has learned that the victim had suffered stab wounds. Stephen Andrew joins us now with more on the story. Stephen.
Hudson, someone discovered the man's body outside an exit door of the Seawind Apartments on Granville Street. The 31-year-old moved to Port Hardy from the lower mainland just days ago with his wife and 2 children, though RCMP say they won't release his name until the next of kin are notified. Police rushed to the home this morning after someone placed a call to 911 and paramedics.
Our dispatchers monitor all medical calls for the first few minutes and determined that we should also send police to it because of obviously the circumstances. Finding a male in medical distress is unusual.
Investigators won't say why they considered the death suspicious, but sources tell A News the man's body was discovered with knife wounds. RCMP say their investigation is in the early stages and won't confirm how the man died or if the investigation is a homicide.
There are a lot of circumstances that we're looking at. We're still doing neighborhood inquiries, speaking to people who may have witnessed or may be able to assist us with the cause at this point. We're not able to tell you or say what that is because we simply don't have enough information.
The crime scene was secured by Port Hardy RCMP early this morning. A forensic team then began working on the scene shortly after the man was discovered, constructing a tent over the body and searching the area around the home. Investigators from the Vancouver Island Major Crime Unit are now in Port Hardy. It took them several hours to arrive there, though, because of fog and had to drive to the North Island town. RCMP say a forensic autopsy will be performed, and until an exact cause of death is determined, investigators will treat this case as suspicious.
There are suspicious aspects. Anytime you have a younger male, 31 years old, who is found dead in potentially a public area, there are obvious questions there that need to be answered. So we'll treat it as we would any other serious crime scene that we would have. We'll process it in the same way, and then once we're able to determine a cause of death and a mode of death, then we'll be able to shift our investigation in one direction or the other.
Investigators expect to be on the scene for the rest of the evening, and they will also continue conducting interviews with potential witnesses, but it's unknown if the family has been interviewed at this point in time. As for those stab wounds, Hudson, a source familiar with the investigation, will not confirm that those wounds were on the body, but suggests in a suspicious death investigation, all avenues must be explored, including the possibility that any wounds found on a victim may have been self-inflicted.
All right, Stephen Andrew reporting. Stephen, thank you.
You're welcome.